Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for our Boxing Day edition of Premier League predictions. Last week was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? What a mess, only 4 games being played, so I didn't even bother doing it. So apologies if you were disappointed. I know I've got to give shout-outs. I know I've got to catch up on all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in the middle of this video this time. So we're going to do 5 games, do the shout-outs, then 5 games, and we can all go home. But at the moment, there are all 10 fixtures being played. We know what's around. We know COVID is around. We know that might change. But at the moment, at the time of filming this, all 10 games are still on. And it's exciting. It's one of the best days in the football calendar. It is Boxing Day predictions, and we start with Liverpool versus Leeds United. There must be goals in this game. There must be goals aplenty in this game, you would think. Leeds are... it's hard to describe how bad they are at the back, but they were ripped to shreds by Arsenal. We know the reasons. They've got a lot of players out injured. They just can't seem to get any luck in that department. But also Bielsa's tactics. He never seems to change them. They're ridiculously open. And you can't help but feel that Liverpool, if you're an attacking player, all of their attacking players must be licking their lips waiting for this one. Waiting to think, oh my God, I'm going to get goals in these games. But Liverpool had a great game with Spurs, but they showed their own frailties at the back in that one as well, especially when Van Dijk doesn't play. I don't think he's scheduled to play this one. They're almost like a completely different team from a defensive point of view. All of a sudden, you see a lot more errors in there, which is not surprising. He is one of the best defenders in the world. So I do expect both sides to score here, and I do expect a high-scoring game. A lot of problems for Leeds, a lot of problems on Bielsa, but surely when they get all their players back, they should be okay, right? Right? But regardless, Liverpool will be too strong. 4-2 to the Reds. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Watford. Well, we just talked about a crazy game with lots of goals. This is going to be the complete opposite. Do not expect a classic here. Wolves don't do goals, either for or against, do they? They hardly concede and they hardly score. They rely on keeping the games tight. They do have such a good defensive unit. And they usually just rely on little bits of individual brilliance, whether they come from Jimenez, whether they come from Hwang, who unfortunately is out injured, or whether they come from their midfield players like Moutinho or Neves, like, for example, the goal they scored against Brighton with that wonderful ball over the top for Saiss to score on the volley. Go behind to Wolves, you are in trouble. Watford are a side that usually like to play on the counter-attack, and I don't know how much joy they're going to get from that against this Wolves side, because Wolves won't really give them too many opportunities to do that. Certainly, if you remember back to how Watford played against Man United, it won't be a game like that. So, as I said, don't expect a classic, expect a low-scoring game. Ranieri's still searching for that holy grail of a clean sheet. I don't think he's going to get it here. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Wolves win. Burnley versus Everton. This could be where you put Burnley down and for a win, and where Burnley do get their second win of the season. But something just tells me that this game is going to end in a draw, and that is actually what I'm going to go for. It is going to be a 1-1 draw. Everton are without a lot of players. Richarlison, Gray, Townsend, Calvert-Lewin. That's a lot of their attacking creativity, pretty much most of it. But they're still well organised. They showed against Chelsea they can sit in a game and still get something from it. So it's a golden opportunity for Burnley. They really need to take it. They'll be bombarding the box of crosses and from set pieces and hoping that Wood and Cornet can make something out of it. Pickford will probably need to be in good form again like he was against Chelsea, and it will depend. At times it will probably be Burnley versus Pickford. But I do just think Everton will come out of it with another draw. I'm going for 1-1. Manchester City versus Leicester City. I think we know how this game is going to play out. You're going to have Manchester City dominating possession, dominating the ball like they always do, and Leicester sitting in there and just trying desperately to hit them on the counter-attack with their pace, with the likes of Vardy and the likes of Daka up front. These are the sort of games where Leicester do throw a spanner in the works, but it's hard to back against City. They're so good. It's like 8 wins on the spin now. They're just literally doing what they did last year, going about their business quietly, clocking up win after win after win. All this without a recognised striker. They've got the likes of De Bruyne back in there now, firing. Looks like injury-free finally and firing on all cylinders. Worrying signs for the rest of the league because City are winning without breaking sweat at the moment, and I do see this one being another win. Leicester will score, but Man City 3-1. Norwich City versus Arsenal. I can't see Norwich getting anything out of this one. The biggest problem for Norwich is scoring goals. They've only scored 8 so far in the Premier League. It's such a bad return. And you can't really do anything if you can't stick the ball in the back of the net. Arsenal have been very good against the sides they've expected to beat this season. They're just sort of... The performances are getting better as they go along as well. They were very impressive against Leeds despite them being really open. And that Lacazette-Martinelli partnership is forming really well, along with the likes of Saka, Odegaard, Partey, Smith-Rowe. They're all looking pretty good and expect Arsenal to get a lot of chances. I won't be quite cutting them open like they did against Leeds, but I do expect Arsenal to create a lot of chances in this game. But Arsenal have also been pretty good at the back. Ramsdale's been exceptional and the defence is getting better. And they've kept a hell of a lot of clean sheets as well. It's difficult. Again, it's just difficult to see where Norwich can get anything out of this one. I just think Arsenal are too good going forward, too good at the back. 3-1 Arsenal win. I don't even know why I'm putting Norwich down for a goal, but I am. 3-1 Arsenal win. And remember, this is an Arsenal side that are now pushing for Champions League places. Okay, as promised, it's time to just take a little pause in the predictions now and give shout-outs to those people that gave their predictions all the way back for Game Week 16. How far back was Game Week 16? It seems like a bloody eternity ago. For example, that was the weekend where Arsenal beat Southampton 2-0, where Man United beat Norwich 1-0. Just to give you a little bit of a clue of what scores we're going over. So thank you to all those that played along. If you want to get a shout out on the next video, leave your predictions down in the comments. It's very, very simple. That's all you need to do to play along. We do a little competition here. Whoever gets the most points wins. You get 1 point for a correct result. You get 3 points for a correct score. So let's quickly go over and see how everybody did. Bringing up the rear in what's becoming a more and more familiar position is, unfortunately, Robert Allen. But he did predict Spurs to be predicted ahead of time. So I'm giving him a little bonus. A little bonus thing on that one. So he got 4 points, but I'm rounding it up to 4.75. I couldn't go the whole hog because a Judy is in next. A Judy has gone from hero to zero, it seems. An amazing performance, getting over 20 points. Back down to earth now with 5. Unlucky a Judy, only 5 points for you. Same can be said for Suhail Zubair. Only 5 points for Suhail. Usually does a lot better as well. Josh Koska is next in there with 6. Pretty good effort to get 6 out of 9. He didn't get any correct scores, so that is 6 correct results out of 9. Not a bad return, actually, Josh. The same can be said for Roberto the Hornet. He also, our Watford fan, got 6 correct results, so 6 points overall, no correct scores. Ballum is next, and Ballum is the first person to get a correct score. He got a correct score for Liverpool versus Aston Villa in that very tight game. 7 points for Ballum overall. Very well done. Manny Stapper, of course, he got a correct score. He's in with 8. He got a correct score for Man United, predicting them to get that sneaky little 1-0 win against Norwich. 8 points for Manish. Very well done. But we have a tie at the top of the leaderboard this week. It is Patrick Silk and Shane O'Donnell pretty much coming in with identical scores and an identical correct score as well. They both had Brentford beating Watford by 2-1. So it's 9 points for both of you guys. Patrick and Shane, a winner is you. Congratulations. Well done. Please come and defend your crown and give your predictions for this week. I know you guys will. And also, please, all of you play along as well at home. Just give your predictions down in the comments. And also remember to hit like and subscribe. But that is the midway point out of the way. let's get back to predictions. And we go back into Tottenham Hotspur versus Crystal Palace. What a weird game this is, and it's because I see like a role reversal of what this game has been in previous years. I see Palace as a side who will literally control possession in this game, control the lion's share of it, and Spurs will just try to hit them on the break with very, very direct play, almost long ball, you could say. Oh, that's a dirty word, isn't it? But they'll just try and get the ball as quickly as they can, up to Son, up to Kane. It isn't a bad tactic, is it really? Worked really well against Liverpool. They should have won that game. There's loads of chances. But that's the way that this game is going to play out. I have Spurs down as winning it, just because I don't know. I just feel they're going to have the edge. I feel it's the Conte factor for no other reason, really. I think he's got them well drilled. They look quite fresh against Liverpool. They were full of running, and I think they'll go well in this one. And I think they'll just pick Palace off 2-0 to Spurs. West Ham United versus Southampton. Two sides that have been struggling for goals recently. West Ham have been struggling in front of goal in recent weeks. For Saints, I'd actually say it's been a problem for the whole season. So you'd think I was going to go for a low-scoring game, but I'm actually going to go for 3 goals. I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. Who knows? But Saints, it's the usual thing. They're a decent side, but they really rely on the individual brilliance, mainly from Ward-Prowse. But Brozier showed as well up front he has got an eye for goal. West Ham have to get more players supporting Antonio. They have to try. More people have to chip in with goals, quite simply, because when he's gone off the boil, the side really goes off the boil in front of goal. But I do think the rest that West Ham have had from not playing last weekend will do them good, and they'll be roared on by a packed house at the Olympic Stadium. And I think that crowd will literally will them to victory. I think Antonio will get back in the goals in this one. And I am going for a 2-1, as I said, West Ham win. Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Well, Chelsea really need a win in this one, don't they, guys and girls? They cannot, well, their fans are already starting to go into a bit of a mini meltdown, and they will feel that they can't drop any more points behind City and Liverpool, or they will find themselves out of this title race quite quickly. They have all of a sudden become quite sloppy in defence, which doesn't normally happen under Tuchel, and I think you can really highlight it down to 2 players. It's not a mystery here, Kante and Kovacic. Those guys have not been playing recently because of injury, and the mistakes have started to slip in. Thankfully for Chelsea, they should be back for this one, so expect to see them a lot more solid. It isn't going to be an easy game though. Steven Gerrard's done a great job so far at Villa. They usually like to get the width from the wings, so they're going to struggle with that one because they're not going to be able to be too offensive against this Chelsea side, so they may have to just go more direct, get it up to Watkins quite quickly, get him running up in behind to get them up the pitch. I do see this one being a tight game, but I see Chelsea edging it. A 2-1 Chelsea win. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Brentford. You know what I'm going to do. I do it every single time, and I know it's getting boring, but I do have some reasoning behind it. Brentford really should be eyeing a victory in this one, and I would actually say if you want to have a bit of an outside away win in the Premier League, you might want to go for Brentford in this one, especially the fact they should have Ivan Toney back as well, who is everything to them going forward. Brighton, it's 11 games without a win. It's 8 draws in there, but it's 11 without a win. And they're just scoring goals is such a massive problem for them. They've got so many players out. 12 players out, including Dunk, including Bissouma, and including Maupay. Some key players, I think you will agree. So it's a great chance for Brentford. But Brighton are a really hard side to beat. They don't go down easy, and they usually get something from every single game they go into. And I expect them to do something here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I know, I'm bloody predictable. And finally, not on Boxing Day, on the 27th, we end with Newcastle versus Manchester United. Look, it's another test to see how Man United have adapted under Ralph Rangnick. And it's another test for Eddie Howe to see if he can try and get anything out of this Newcastle side. Of course, they desperately need some points. And United will be expecting to win this game, no doubt about it, especially with Newcastle's frailties at the back. And as well, they don't seem to be getting a lot of luck in games either. They will play, I imagine Newcastle will play 4-5-1 in this one. So it won't be easy for Man United to press them and try and turn over the ball quickly and play on the counter-attack. It may be more likely that Newcastle will be the ones doing it to them, with the likes of St Maximin and Joel Linton trying to get the ball up to Callum Wilson, who they are hoping can add to his 6 goals this season. So Man United will dominate possession. Newcastle really need the crowd to get into this one, to really drag them along, get that Gallagate roaring and see if they can get anything against this Manchester United side, who are not the finished article, let's be fair. They've had a couple of very scraped wins since Rangnick's come in. They haven't looked that convincing, but I do think that they will find a way. The quality in their side, I keep saying that, don't I? The quality in their side will show through. I'm going to go for Newcastle 1, Manchester United 2. And that will do it for this round of Premier League predictions. Everybody out there, I hope you have a great Christmas. I hope you get to see all your friends and family and everything like that. And thank you very much for supporting this channel. If you can hit like, that would be great. If you can subscribe, that would be great too. And if you could share this video around and comment below and give your predictions below, that would be fantastic all in all. So, if you're watching this after Boxing Day, I hope you had a great Christmas. But generally, just thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.